enigmatic woman enters, and with fiery hair and, the most gorgeous, the largest smile I've seen. And she's this huge bundle of positivity that walks in. And I was like, who is this? And we started talking and we connected and bonded over backpacking and over solo traveling. And at that point, I kind of realized that when she continued her story, that she kind of broke a part of her rib, or was it her arm? We're going to get into details on that as well right now. And I kind of realized that no matter what, she keeps her spirit up, and it takes a lot for me to want to admire someone, and she's one of those people. So guys, I would love to introduce you to somebody I'm proud to call a friend now. Moxie McQueen. And there's one more thing about her. She knows how to talk her way through any situation. There you are.
Hey.
Hey, Moxie. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so glad you're a part of Friday night.
I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so grateful to you for asking me. It's such an honor. Thank you.
How are things in Croatia? What's it looking like with the quarantine and with everything?
Well, things are opening up here, actually, because they did an incredible job as far as handling the situation. They kept it locked down quite quickly. I'm living in a hostel right now because a part of the traveling, and eventually, I'd just gotten a job here right before it happened. So at any rate, I went ahead and did that lockdown. I'm still volunteering, so I'm the one cleaning for all the 10 people still living in the hostel that are stuck here.
Right.
And it meant that it's hard to get a different place to live right now too. So, but in the end, they recently started opening up in phases. And so starting Monday, hopefully I will have my job going because our restaurant has a terrace, and that's one of the things. So,
yay. Yay, that sounds great. Moxie, I would love to have people know a little bit more about where that confident solo traveler in you came from. Where did that incident you told me about when you were a little girl and you made that painting, please, can you tell people about this?
Sure. So recently, well, maybe about 5 years ago now, I was doing the biggest part of becoming a minimalist. And so I was going through the childhood paperwork that your moms save. And I found a thing that showed where you do a coat of arms, and there was 4 sections, and you had to draw a picture for the questions next to it. And I think it's a bit odd they asked a 3rd grader this, but they asked me if you only had a year left to live, what would you do? And everybody else was drawing like, oh, Hawaii. And I drew the globe with arrows going around it. But I think the key is when I saw that image, I knew exactly what it meant. It meant that I wanted to go and connect with people and connect with cultures and really be there. It wasn't about seeing sights. It was about like really having that global understanding and that true connection. I wanted to know the languages. Okay, I don't know Croatian yet, but
soon. You know what? I think that's how we kind of bonded as well, because I remember when you entered that hostel dorm room, we were co-inhabitants in that dorm room, and she started telling me about her journey, and I think you also have that natural knack of just, connecting with people like that. I think you're blessed. I think a lot of people are just blessed with that, and you're one of those people.
Well, thank you. I think it's a skill that can be honed. So sure, I'm an open person, but that doesn't always come easy. Of course, I've been hurt and I've had trauma in my life definitely.
Yeah.
And those are things that you overcome. But a big part of that is being able to try and keep connecting. And yeah, sometimes it takes a long time to go too deep. You have this wall, but for sure it's so worth keep trying. And even if it's just connecting with small talk, it's so neat if you're really listening, if you're thinking about when even a waitress, for instance, if she's being really pissy or whatever, not nice, it can be an incredible experience just by saying, "Are you having a bad day?" Because instead of thinking like, "Oh, she's so rude, I'm not going to tip her," you can just be like, "Huh, I wonder what's going on that she would be this way." Because I know sometimes I can be rude and not even realize it because I'm just in my own head. So, when you want to connect,
empathy, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Empathy is a big part of it. And so, and tied with that, in my travels, like a big part of why everywhere I go, I have amazing experiences. And it's true, I really, really do. It's because I am just filled with awe and gratitude for all of it. So yes, by the way, when we met, I walked in that room and I had my heavy backpack on, and I just had this crazy, crazy couple of days experience and hitchhiked from Dingle to Killarney. I walk in the room and I'm trying to take my backpack off, and you're grinning, and I'm like, "Hi," and I like winced, and I go, and I'm like, "Sorry, I broke my rib," and it was like up here, the high rib. So and you laughed, and then you go, "Oh my God, you're serious!"
I thought you were joking. Guys, she just walks in like there's this heavy duty backpack she's got. It's like everything. That's like her stash for like, I don't know, as long as you were traveling. And then she's like, I broke my rib. I was like, it's probably she's referring to the weight of the backpack, and she's like, my backpack's so heavy, I broke my rib. And then I looked at her, I was like, "Oh my God, you're serious!"
Yep, it was crazy. It was a crazy experience on how it went down, but what a beautiful thing that ended up happening, because as a result of that and the experience that happened after, the next day, I ended up having to go back because when it happened, or on that same, it was on a bike ride, guys. On that same ride, I'd lost my hoodie, and I only had one other long sleeve thing had been stolen. So I had, and it's winter in Ireland, and sure enough, I end up hitchhiking back to just see if I could find the hoodie. Not only that, but the guy that I hitchhiked with is in a fish truck. Last person I thought would, pick me up. He ended up saying, "Oh yeah, I can take you there." And as we chatted, he's like, "Oh, you need to go back to Dingle?" "Well, I'm actually going there." So I got to ride with him all the way back. And then as we keep talking, he's like, "Actually, I'm going to Killarney after this." So we picked up my pack and went on the road to Killarney. And it was even more because I was thinking, since I had to go try and see if I could get my hoodie, which I did, was great, that I would miss getting to see the Ring of Kerry that day because I really wanted to. And turns out he's like, "Okay, I can take you there now and drop you at the hostel, or I can take you. I have to do the Ring of Kerry and do drop-offs." And I'm like, "No way!" So it was just this beautiful serendipity thing that happened after the crazy bike ride with the broken rib and the whole bit. So
right. Okay, guys, so everybody who's joining in right now, I'm talking to Moxie McQueen, who is a fellow solo traveler. I mean, she's a solo traveler, but we met backpacking through Ireland and on the way, and we did Killarney National Park together as well. We spent a lot of quality time there. And I don't know if a lot of people would, I don't know if you'd want to sing for us, but guys, she sings.
Oh my gosh.
So beautifully. So, there was this really funny thing. We entered, what was that place that we had entered? It was in Killarney, of course. It was these ruins, and then there was this area, there was a library or something there. I think there was a library, a little souvenir shop, and just outside that, there was this enclosure. It was like
courtyard.
This area, a courtyard kind of thing, yes. And she just started singing there. And the funny part is that I thought something was playing. And then I realized it was Moxie singing. And it is so divine. The way it was there was a Celtic feel to it. So it was just going with the mood and with the temperament. Do you want to sing for us, Moxie?
Oh my goodness. On the spot. I have to
I
think
had
of a
to
good
do that.
song.
I'm sorry, because I knew that if I was going to talk to you about this, you probably wouldn't do it.
Oh my goodness. I'll just sing a couple of that song I sang to you. One sec.
Yes.
Between the here, between the now, between the north, between the south, from the shell, the song of the sea, neither quiet nor calm, searching for love again, my love.
Oh my gosh, that is. I find that angelic. You're.
Oh,
I think how
thank
you are internally reflects in your singing as well. Are there any tips you'd like to give? I was talking to you about this the other day, that I think a lot of us as women, we're hesitant of going out and backpacking. We always feel like there needs to be this guy with us, especially when it comes to solo backpacking. There are certain places where it's not the most advisable to be going alone, for men or for women equally. But other than that, I mean, are there any tips you'd like to give to future backpackers and solo backpackers? Because you've done this exhaustively.
I have. And I just want to say, if you're scared, be scared, but step up. Because if this is what you dream or what you desire, whether it be for a few weeks, a few months, 15 months and going on, like me, just do it, because it's so surprising. Like what I came from and the scenario that got me here is just so strange, that I went from that to living the life that I've always dreamed of, just because of this horrible thing that happened, and somebody tearing a piece of paper off saying, this is how much it would cost to try, and me going, wait, what? I could do this with the little amount of money I had. So don't let things stop you. Like, for instance, I left the United States with only $8,000 to my name. That's it. And I have been traveling for 15 months. Now, granted, the last little while has been really intense, because I was supposed to start my job a month and a half ago. And so I only had a few $100s left, but I made it, 14 and a half months with only that little bit of money. And you find tricks along the way, and I'm starting a YouTube channel, so hopefully I'll be able to share not only my experiences, but some of these things as well. But first video should be going up this week. But as far as some tips,
what's your YouTube channel called, before I forget to ask?
Oh, sure, it's Which Way Did She Go? So
Which Way Did She Go? Okay, guys, so please subscribe.
All
the
one
channel
word.
is already up, right?
Yes, it's up. There's just not a video up, and I'm having a hard time on the learning curve about editing, putting things together, or it would have been up already. So
if you figure the world out, you can figure editing out.
Exactly, and I'm excited. It's really fun, because and I've been posting on Facebook as well, just like little. They'll go into the bigger, a big one, but just little hilarious things that have been happening here, little funny anecdotes of like experiences, like when the language is a problem and getting understanding, and it can be super comical. So
I'm sure I can imagine.
Just to go back for 1 second, I just want to say too, as far as like tips, if you have like fears or things, see where the root is, because like you can only conquer them if you take those steps. And I really want to encourage women, especially, you can do this, because like staying in hostels like you and I do, we met each other, you meet the most amazing people. And sometimes there are people where you're like, yeah, I'm glad that I don't live in the same city as them, but yet the connections that you might make with that same person over a coffee or something in the morning, maybe they were having whether it's be a bad night or it's just your personality, you're like, I never would have had that perspective or that understanding without having met that person. So like, be willing to talk even if you're shy. take those little steps. They might be little. So I just wanted to go back to that really quickly, because it's such an amazing experience to go to another country, to see things, but to really connect with people. Other travelers are some of the best people to meet because they're generally open. They're open-hearted, they're open-minded, they're much more willing to do unique things. Of course, there's always those exceptions, but really for me, I hear about them. I don't really meet them. I tend to meet really open-minded people occasionally. It's not never, but
Yeah.
So anyway, so we can go for it. I just wanted to really, whoever's listening, please, take a chance. Go if you can't afford much too. There's so many options. Take a tent and go places where you can camp. It might be intense and scary. You could do it. It's so easy.
Take a tent. Totally. I think it's also, that's what I love about you. It's, that sense of adventure minus the fear.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I like the fact that you mentioned that if you're scared, it's okay to be scared and stay scared,
yes.
But seize the opportunity. I think that is really important when it comes to solo backpacking. And I think doing a little bit of groundwork, research helps, just so you know what you're setting.
Hopefully it'll help alleviate those fears too, because you'll have more of an idea. Yes.
I
totally didn't. I just went boom. I mean, that's obviously because I've had
hiking, but but the way you did it,
Moxie,
oh my God, that is so inspiring. I could never do it person.
Yeah, I mean, clearly now during these COVID times, can't happen. But, if I went back to Scotland and it's, next year, say, I bet you anything, or Ireland, it would not be a problem, because it's just a part of their culture. Is very hospitable and they're really cool people. So, yeah,
yes.
The Scottish that's the home of my heart. That's what I found. So
I remember having that conversation with you. Yeah. You've done a lot of bizarre jobs. What are these jobs that you've done?
Well, I've done construction. Yeah, I know. One summer I did construction, and of course that meant that all the guys decided they need to dare me to do things, or leave the heaviest things for me to carry, and I just did it. But then I've also I was a model for a painter in Italy when I lived there.
How long were you there?
A year. I lived there a year before the Schengen, so it was possible to stay that long.
Gotcha.
And I have had a few businesses. One was catering and party planning many years ago, home and office organization, and then more recently, a life coach. I called it mindset coaching because I worked a lot with, I think, what your first guest talked about of body positive and having a good positive, body image, and relating it also, because I'm a yoga instructor, to yoga. So I could do workshops that combine both. So
which form
kind of all over. I've obviously also done the typical office job too. So
gosh, what was that moment where you decided to pack your bags and just leave? Because it's very unconventional, Again, we were talking about this the other day, that I guess it's a very Asian thing, where South Asian or Southeast Asian, we're kind of brought up in a way, and we're taught that you need to have a 9-to-5 job, or you need to have a real job, as we call it. Be a doctor, be an engineer, be a pharmacist if you have to, but a lawyer, So what you're doing, I don't know. I would be really scared to make that a full-time, thing where I'm traveling and I don't know what I'm going to earn tomorrow, and I don't know what, which way I'm going to go. I mean, at least which way I'm going to go financially or in terms of stability,
Right.
So what's that like? Do you never have insecurities? If you do, what are they like? We want to know what's going on in there.
I think with life experience that I had, at one point, I had perfect, pristine credit, so I had a safety net. I had huge amount of safety net, because when you have that good a credit, you have a really big, high limit. So if there's any emergencies, and I had a lot of money saved up to do this sort of a thing, go abroad again. It was after I'd been in Italy. And I was seeing someone at the time, and it turned out that for 3 years he had been conning me and had put me in $30,000 in debt, ruined my credit entirely. So the thing is, no matter how much you plan or prepare, this is life experience that has taught me that you just go with it. Coronavirus came. It means that I can't start work when I need to. All right. So this is what's happening. All right, let's see what comes of it. And then I had posted a funny video, and a friend of mine just said, "So you can keep going." I was just saying how, relating a funny story, and she just sent me via Venmo some money, and I'm like, that saved me for a month of groceries, And I was just those sorts of things where the universe can, not to get weird ooey, but in sounding, but for lack of a better way of putting it, the universe, what you put out there, it's proven energetically, actually, scientifically, but what you put out is return. And that goes energetically, physically, but it's also energetically as far as who you are. So I am a very, very positive-minded person. I once did a strengths test, and that I never knew it was a strength, but positivity. But I think that's something that I also had to cultivate, because I had that crazy, horrible experience, and then I had other ones, sexual assaults and things, and it's but what am I going to do? Wallow and just always stay like this, or am I going to live a big, bold life? I want to live a big, bold life. I want to have joy and find those experiences versus denying myself it because I'm too scared to step out. So, of course, there's fear. Well, not so much anymore with the things we're talking about for me, because I just really am accepting if something scary happens, okay, well, then let's face it, deal with it, and let's see what I'm going to learn from it. Because for me, I think that's the biggest thing. It's about growth. Learning. When that thing happened, yes, growth, learning and growth. So when that thing happened with that guy, it was scary as heck, because for me, those were the things that were my safety net, the credit. I still don't have credit, because of what he did to me. And excuse me. But I think it's what was the biggest part for me was I dove in and I said, I want to get healthy. I want to learn the lesson that I need to learn from this experience so that I don't have to keep hitting the same wall to learn that lesson, making the same mistakes because I didn't learn it then. So I faced up in that moment and I dove into the fire and I walked through it, and it hurt like hell and it was hard. But when you come out the other side, it's better than standing with one foot in it all the time, trying to it's just it's a slow burn, but it's constant, and then you're never really ever out of that place. So for me, it was, I just went through it and came out the other side, and it was a process, and I did get help because, man, that's a lot of betrayal. But I can't believe we got in this deep into this, but it's relevant to the travel, because you really when you face those things, you learn those lessons, but what you learn most is how to persevere and how to really go for things that are important. Being healthy inside and here is important. Yoga is a phenomenal way to do that, and it's something you can take with you anywhere. And I know we're talking a lot to the community in Southeast Asia. There, I think is where you said yes, but
South Asia,
South Asia, yeah, and it's I know that there's a big debate about how the Western world has taken it, but I want to say thank you, because it is such a beautiful. There's so much wisdom in that practice. I'm getting teary in that practice, and it means so much to me to be able to become centered when I need to and just breathe. Sometimes, right now, okay, think of 10 strangers in a small space with no real lounge area. We kind of made one of the rooms into it, and we're in this COVID thing. We're strangers, and they're very, very different personalities. It is not always easy to deal with those personalities, because misunderstandings and assumptions and all of these things come at you, and you're just but it's 100%. it's been a really growing experience. So I am welcoming it, you know, and I value each one of them, even the ones that maybe don't like me that much, you know, because
Well, there's
they
always
teach
gonna
me
be haters,
lessons.
right? There's yeah,
Yeah.
haters don't hate. So Moxie, what that was just it's so informative to know that. I love your positivity. You know, I think on a gloomy day, you're the person I would call.
Oh, thank
There's
you.
so much to take away
Well,
from you.
you are, I know everybody out there that's watching this knows that you are such a light in this world, and you totally brighten my life. You're such a joy, and I'm so grateful that we met and that you rolled down that hill that day.
And that you captured it.
I did. So,
Like
that was me laughing in the background if you guys saw it. I was trying to hold it steady and not shake it because I was laughing.
Yeah, I rolled down a grass hill. But yeah, Moxie, what does the future hold for you? I mean, should I even be asking this question? I mean, do you even have that plan, or is it just gonna be like, you know, next thing you know, Moxie's in like Vietnam?
Well, yeah, I think plan is a strong word, but I definitely have the idea of what I would love to do, which is to keep going and being in a place for a time and then moving on. Right now, I'm a lot longer in Croatia than I would probably want to be, not just because of coronavirus, but because, you know, like with the work thing and stuff, you make a commitment. But I am with the YouTube channel and some other avenues. I'm hoping to be able to travel regularly, and stay for a time in places and get to know it and be able to share these experiences. I've had more and more people say, please do this. And, you know, and I always capture the inane little moments that are so funny, like going into a pharmacy and trying to ask for a little capsule for a stool sample for my job. She didn't understand the word, and I'm trying to
get a stool or something.
At some point, I'm pointing to my butt, you know, going, and she goes, "Oh, constipation? No, you know,
Diarrhea?
No." And I kept trying, and it was like hemorrhoids. Like, oh my gosh, no, please.
How did you end up? You know, how did you end up conveying what you wanted?
I finally looked up the name of the test I had to get so that she would get it. She goes, "Oh," but then she still pulled out the wrong container, and it was a huge container. I'm like, I think that's still not. So the hilarious part is, in the end, it was only like super little, as you know, less than, I mean, it's few. It was 1 kuna, which you guys can figure out what that is. I don't know. But, you know, a few cents. But she's finally like, "Oh, just take it." She's so fed up with it.
Oh, just get out of here.
It was hilarious. Yeah, okay. Just go. You're fine. You know, like, all that poop talk was too much for me, you know?
Yeah.
So, but you have just those moments. And so I'll post those sort of little funny things, or the big moments. Like the first time I went, like in Paris, and I went up to the Eiffel Tower at the top, and it was like a few weeks before my birthday. So this is how I was celebrating. And, you know, and like I did a little tiny video up there, not knowing I was going to get into a YouTube channel, which was something my friends sort of aggressively encouraged me to do, and I'm really excited to take off with that. And I'd love it if you guys that are there want to follow me and engage. I'm all about connecting, so let's connect.
Absolutely.
So.
I've posted it here already. Which way did she go? Okay. I'm just going to pin it real quick, and because I kind of missed that opportunity to pin it because everybody was like, did she go?
No worries.
Yeah. So, guys, please follow Moxie at Which Way Did She Go? Subscribe to her channel. There's no videos there yet, but there will be a lot of, and you know what? I'm going to be, out of this, I'm going to be your first subscriber because this.
Oh, thank you.
I can't wait to see what you've got. Please come out with content soon, Moxie. Guys, please subscribe.
Yes.
And it would be great if maybe you could post snippets of that on your Instagram. I mean, you know, so everybody from here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So everybody from here who would, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to start following Moxie from here. So please do if you aren't already. And hi, Suresh. And through that, you're going to get through to a lot of content that she's going to be posting up on her YouTube channel as well. Which way did she go? I've pinned it here. I think I tried to pin it, but I think it's pinned now. And Moxie, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much for joining. The whole intent of Friday night is to inspire people and to bring stories to them that that can make a change either in their mindset or in terms of how they approach situations or how we tackle our fears and the way you've done it.
And that's what I'm all about. Right now. Yeah, that's what I'm all about. I mean, that's why I became a mindset coach, to help people learn there's actual science behind changing the way you think, and it will better your life in multiple ways. And there's different ways you can approach it. Your mind, your body, and your soul, spirit, whatever you want to call that. You can approach it from any one of those ways and changing those habits of negative thought, of other things. And so, but yeah, I'm all about connecting, obviously, we mentioned that, but also just helping other people to hopefully live healthier or more fun or more engaged, that's the word, more engaged and authentic lives. And I think I went through the journey to to get to know my authentic self and honor it, because even when I knew, like, that authentic self from the story from when I was a kid, but even when I knew and got to know it, to just actually live it is another big step. And so that's what my journey has taken me on this road trip. For others, it might be to step up and say yes to being married. For someone else, it might be, who knows? It could be something that someone else would find mundane, but for that person, it is a huge hurdle to cross, because for them, they've been hurt so often, or whatever yours is. I'm like super excited and want to encourage you to follow that it's not a passion, it's follow your inner calling, your inner self, what your authentic person is saying. So sorry to jump on top of you.
No, that's beautiful. This is all about you. I just wanted you to talk today. So thank you so much for joining us, Moxie, and may you have
my pleasure.
Plenty more adventures, which will lead to more content for your YouTube channel, which would lead to us being, given a lot of information about our travel plans as well. So and what to expect. So that'll be really cool. I can't wait to check out your YouTube channel, guys. Which way did she go? And thank you for joining us, Moxie.
Thank you.
And I hope
thank you, everyone, and thank you so much, Shashaa.
Love you right back.
Be well.
You too.
Be safe. Stay safe, everybody. Stay safe.
Yes.
Bye.
You too. Bye.